Hi everyone, this is a tutorial about the QRI, which is called the Qualitative Reading Inventory. And it's right here on your red menu. So let me click on that. And what you're going to use this for is if you want to do both a running record and a comprehension inventory for your case study, or maybe you just want to look at comprehension, you can do that too. And as you can see, there's lots of levels. So this is going to be a useful tool for you in your work as special ed teachers, because you're always going to be wondering, what's the comprehension like with this particular student? And instead of relying on assessments that other people have done or standardized assessments, you're going to be able to do it yourself. So whenever I'm kind of faced with a kind of a new student and I'm trying to get to know them, I usually reach for something like this. It's from a text. It's kind of like an assessment packet. Some of the schools will have their own versions of this, but so this is something you can use totally independently. Okay, so first of all, you've got to figure out what level you're going to assess your student with. And to do that, you are going to assess them on a series of word lists. And so this is the how well this, so here's the text here. This is available for purchase, but I pretty much have most of the files here for you. So the way this works is the word lists are coordinated with the readings. So knowing your case studies as you do, you probably have an idea of where to start with these lists, because most of you have done the word reading one, and that kind of gives you an idea a little bit about this. And the idea is you're going to have them read down the list. So if they're reading this one, cover this one up with a piece of paper until they get, and keep going until they start to actually make errors. And you're looking for about a 75 to 85% accuracy with these words, and that's going to be the level you're going to choose. So as you can see, they get more and more difficult. Okay, so then if you scroll down, you're going to see what you're going to look at. So here is your examiner list. So you're going to basically print out this whole thing, and you'll be looking at this, and they'll be reading, and you check off if they automatically identify it, if they really identify it. You're going to count up how many are correct, and then this gives you kind of an idea. So most useful to do this assessment would probably be the instructional level. So again, that's why you're looking 70 to 85%. You could also do this one too. Okay, so say I do I'm working with a kid, and I find that they go through the second list, they go through the third one, and at the fourth one, they start to make errors, and they end up, let's say, getting 17 correct. So I'm going to look up, and I'm going to say, okay, this is fourth. So this is and again, these don't necessarily correlate to grade levels, so don't worry about that. So, but this fourth is what I'm going to look for in terms of the reading. So now I'm going to go back to here, and I'm looking for level 4. Here we go. So I've got level 4 student and level 4 examiner. So I'm going to now, it's kind of hard to do this all in one day unless you have a lot of these different ones printed out. So it's the kind of thing where like one day you might do the word list, and then you can go and get the texts ready. I'd also be, if I know they kind of came in at level 4, I might also have ready the level 3 one and the level 5 one. Just kind of, I might be interested. I might have, might not be totally accurate, the word list. So I just kind of like to just be prepared that way. So anyway, what do these look like? So this is the student text. This one's on Amelia Earhart, and this is what it looks like. So this is what you print out for them. And then for you print out this one. And what I like about this particular assessment is it takes into consideration prior knowledge about the topic, and it also has a lot of really good comprehension questions. So I would ask them, what you do is you ask them these before you even give them the text, and you kind of write down what they say here. And you don't have to worry too much about this kind of scoring. If you are interested in that, then you actually need to look at probably the whole text. But anyway, this gives you an idea of kind of how much they actually know. So then here is your text that you can use to do a running record. So as they're reading, you're checking off and you're noting miscues and omissions and substitutions and all of that. After they finish reading, then so here's how you would, here's your kind of miscue thing, but I wouldn't do this right with them right there. You go back and do that later, because the first thing you're going to do is you're going to ask them to retell the story, and this is a super important comprehension thing. So basically you're going to say, why don't you tell me the story in your own words, kind of from beginning to end. And then as they are telling you things, you're checking them off and see what they kind of checked off. So it really helps to make sure that you actually read the story yourself before you have them do it and look through here, because otherwise it's too hard to kind of figure out what they're, it's too hard to do this. So again, your prep is make sure you read the story you're going to have them read so that you can know what you're kind of going for here. Okay. 47 ideas, number of ideas recalled, other things you can put in here too. So then after they do that, and that just takes a couple minutes, then you're going to start asking them questions. There are two kinds of questions. And again, I really like the way they distinguish these. So there's your implicit question, or which is where they ask about inferences, and then there's your explicit questions, where with your literal kind of understanding. And it's important to look at both of these. So this gives you the answer, and you write down kind of what they said. And if they basically say the same thing, you should just check off kind of right there. And after they do that, oh, and you can actually see how it says without lookbacks and with lookbacks. They can certainly look back on the text. You just need to note that. And you might decide to have them answer it first and then look back. But I'm usually a little bit more fluid with that. If they want to look back, I let them. If I feel like they need to, then I might cue them in on that. So then you're measuring up correct explicit, correct implicit. And that's basically it. So again, this is a really good resource. Just to review, just go over just quickly what you're going to do is you start with the word lists and you use them to establish what text you're going to have them read. And then once you know that, you print off the text. Again, you could print off the level above or level below if you're not sure. Here is another document on miscue analysis, how they do this one. You've read a lot of different things on that, so you might want to look at that too. And again, keep this. You might also want to download these files and save them on your computer if you think that this might be useful in your work kind of going forward. So that is the QRI, and let me know if you have any questions.